Hi, I'm Ray Gauss, Architect for Integrations at Alfresco. Now you've heard about the many features provided by the Alfresco digital business platform, but we know that content and process need to be part of many different applications within an organization for many different needs. So Alfresco makes it easy to build integrations. We supply several of our own and have a wide range of partner solutions available. Let's take a look. Let's start with some of the cross-cutting considerations that come up when building these integrations. Things like user identity, content identity, metadata mapping, and dealing with third-party SDKs. There are also some common tools that are used for building these things: REST communication and CMIS, and those open standards allow you to tap into integration platforms like MuleSoft. Now, these integrations come into play at several points of the content and process lifecycle, from migration to creation and input, collaborative editing, review and approval, to publishing, archive, and governance. Now, you can build these integrations yourself using open APIs, but there are several integrations already available. Let's take a look. The Alfresco Content Connector for Salesforce is an example of content enablement, where we're adding content services to other external systems. In this case, it allows a user to leverage the power of Alfresco without leaving the Salesforce environment. They can upload new files, they can search for existing files in Alfresco, and not just by name, but using the full power of Alfresco's indexing and metadata extraction capabilities. They can kick off predefined processes, and the metadata from Salesforce is also mapped to Alfresco, which allows you to use things like rules and actions to, for example, trigger an automatic deal review when an opportunity has been closed as won. The way this works is the Alfresco Salesforce package is installed in your Salesforce organization. You can then set up where the different object types in Salesforce are saved to in the Alfresco repository, along with the metadata mapping for those objects to Alfresco properties. The page layouts for those different objects in Salesforce are then configured with a direct view into that Alfresco content for the user. Now on the Alfresco side, the communication with the Salesforce REST API is done through an open source SDK library called Spring Social Salesforce, maintained by Alfresco. When the user then visits a Salesforce record, those special pages are served by Alfresco, and the metadata is mapped to the Alfresco aspect properties. Email and Office applications are obviously an important place where users do work every day. So, of course, we support standard protocols like IMAP and SMTP, but we also have an Outlook integration with the Outlook desktop client, where users can browse and search for content in Alfresco without leaving their email client. And going the other way, they can intelligently pull in emails and associated attachments into the Alfresco repository. Now this works with a special plugin that's added to the Outlook desktop client that communicates with extensions to the Alfresco repository. We support a similar experience of editing without leaving your desktop client environment through standard Office protocols. Now the Google Docs integration is an example of content collaboration, where users can leverage the web-based editing capabilities of Google for things like documents, spreadsheets, and presentations. They can create and edit content from Alfresco and then collaboratively review and make changes in the Google environment, and then check that back into Alfresco once that's complete. Now the way this works is the content from Alfresco is uploaded to a special working directory in Google. And those Google file details are then recorded as aspect node properties in Alfresco. And that content is then locked or checked out to avoid editing conflicts between the two systems. And when that process is complete and that is checked back in from Google Docs, the Alfresco node is versioned with the latest content. Now, towards the end of that content lifecycle, there's often a need for broader consumption outside of your organization. That might be through public-facing websites or content delivery networks. Alfresco's Media Management module provides integrations with Brightcove's REST API and AWS CloudFront. Both of those support the definition of multiple publishing channels to different destinations for different needs. Now, all of the content services integrations that I've spoken about so far are delivered as modules to allow for greater flexibility and upgrades of Alfresco in the future. Most processes involve content in one way or another. Users can define process models in Alfresco process services that contain a file or content attachment step. Then other running instances of that process definition can operate on that content. Now, the uses of this could be something like review and approval, case-style apps where there's a binder of associated content, or perhaps automated inspection and manipulation of that content. Now, that file or content attachment step can include content from things like Box, Google Drive, and of course, Alfresco Content Services. Users grant access to those external systems via OAuth and can select multiple files using a common file picker. There's also a step that can be added by process designers that publishes content out to external systems. And in the case of Alfresco, metadata can also be mapped. Now, these integrations are provided as part of the Alfresco Process Services distribution and can be enabled and configured by an administrator. There's also a generic REST API call that allows integrations with all kinds of systems. The goal of these integrations is usually to tie into the power of the Alfresco digital business platform, enabling access to things like the incredible flexibility of rules and actions, the powerful search mechanisms, things like governance services, where you might declare things as easy access records. I encourage you to watch those talks for more detail. Of course, our partners also offer a wide range of integrations. So whether you're dealing with medical imaging, or engineering drawings, or other business verticals, there are solutions available. As we've seen, Alfresco provides integrations with many popular systems for many different use cases. And following these same patterns, customers and partners can easily build their own. Thanks for watching.